Yo, I scare you guys again or what? What's what's going on, guys? What is going on? How's everybody doing? Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Jesse will be along shortly, guys. I just had a couple of things I wanted to cover before he got here, so he will be here, and we will talk crypto. We will talk Jasmy. We'll probably talk quite a bit about this Ethereum ETF situation. So yeah. Anyway, so let's see what's going on in the chat. Ali G, I have a feeling Jasmy will pump huge in the next few hours. Volume is increasing, and lots of profits from the other tokens may head to Jasmy. Well, let's have a look at the volume. 86 million. Yeah, it is quite high. Market cap's down a little bit though. Kevin, what's up, buddy? Good to see you, brother. Bring the alpha, big dog. Absolutely, bro. You know I got the fries that'll cross your eyes, brother. Funky in the house. What's going on? Shea Boy, what's happening? Hope everyone's having a good day. So far, so good, man. It's a nice day. I'm going to go in the backyard shortly, maybe shoot a couple of videos, talk some smack. Pluto's in the house. What's going on, brother? Junior, hey, Rob. Good afternoon, my brother. Good afternoon, broski. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Shane, what's up, man? Not too much, just chilling, chilling like a villain, being solid, It ain't easy being greasy. So, yeah. Let me make sure we're live over on X. We are live. Okay. All right. As always, guys, make sure that you're smashing that subscribe button if you're new here. If you appreciate the work we put into bringing special guests on the channel and dropping the alpha and stuff like that, then definitely, hit that subscribe button. Tara, hello. Good to see you. All right, so let's get into some of the stuff here before Jesse shows up. So what do we got? BTC still holding 69,300, guys. It's only red because, it pumped hard around this time 24 hours ago, right? Still, market's still good, guys. Looks like we're going to have a good daily close. Gala's still suffering from yesterday's hack. Not good, man. Not good for Gala. Jupiter's having a little bit of a pullback. Jupiter's a good pickup, guys. Overtook Uniswap as the number one Ethereum DEX. And guys, if you remember, when a Wells notice was sent to Uniswap, where is Uniswap anyway? Where is it? If you recall, I told you guys when Uni had crashed as a result of that Uni was probably a pretty good pickup at those prices, right? And here we are. Yeah, it fell. Uniswap had fallen all the way down to $6.73. It's all the way back up to $9.30. So it was a good pickup, man. Boomer's in the house. What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Hey, Rob, I came across Blood Loops BLS gaming coin. Just wanted your thoughts on it's on Uniswap. Let's have a quick look. Is it BLS? There's nothing on CoinGecko. Let me check CoinMarketCap. BLS. I got nothing, brother. I got nothing. I can check DEX tools. BLS on Uniswap, you say? Blood Loop? Yeah. Okay, so here's that. $69,000 market cap. Wow, this is very, very new. 100% of the supplies in circulation. Doesn't have a great DEX score. A lot of buyers, one seller. Oh, no, there's more. Okay. You said this is a gaming project? Huh. I don't know. I mean, it looks okay, but they have no X accounts, no website. So it's not audited yet. I would just be cautious with it if I was you. Hey, from the UK, Michael, what's up, man? Next week will be hi from Cape Verde in 2 weeks in the sun. Nice, absolutely awesome, man. Stop by for the daily dose of Jasmy Gems. What's up, fam? Let's go. Absolutely. Pluto, hey Rob, would you rather have 500,000? I would go with Swift, man, all the way. All the way, I'd go with Swift. It's been pumping, yeah. Scott, what's up, Rob? My first live in a while. 50 push-ups. Jasmy scam. Yeah, a lot of people have been away for a bit. Jasmy, huge scam. Huge. Yeah, scamming us right into those profits, man. Freaking Jasmy, making me money and stuff. The audacity of this company, you know. So what do we got? Patrick McHenry, guys. Again, I gotta stress to you guys, there's two bills being voted on this week that we're going to be live streaming as well. First one's on Wednesday, but check this out from so Patrick McHenry says this week the House is taking a monumental step towards providing regulatory clarity for the U.S. digital asset ecosystem. The Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act will spur innovation and secure consumer protection for markets. So let's listen up.
FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried arrested in the Bahamas, set to face a judge this morning after U.S. prosecutors filed criminal charges in connection with the multi-billion-dollar collapse of his crypto company.
It's crypto's shining moment. A D.C. court ruling that the SEC was wrong to deny asset manager Grayscale's ETF proposal. It could be paving the way for the first ever spot Bitcoin exchange-traded fund.
Breaking news, the SEC now filing suit against Coinbase in Manhattan federal court. It says Coinbase has operated as an unregistered broker since at least 2019.
Under SEC Chairman Gary Gensler's leadership, the U.S. digital asset ecosystem has been mired by dysfunction and uncertainty. Woefully inadequate guidance and regulation by enforcement have led to turmoil in the marketplace, driving innovation offshore and jeopardizing critical consumer protections. To address this gap in regulatory clarity, lawmakers from the House Financial Services and Agriculture Committees teamed up to deliver an unprecedented joint effort to create a market structure for digital assets, the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act. FIT 21 will ensure consumer protection in the marketplace.
It is in Congress's interest to remedy the dispute between the CFTC and the SEC amidst $1 trillion of consumer harm. Foreign actors operating here domestically and consumers having their money taken. So we need to clarify this for consumer protection.
Under this bill, Americans can feel comfortable engaging with digital assets, knowing that this ecosystem is being brought under a time-tested regulatory umbrella.
Foster innovation in the U.S. digital asset ecosystem.
What we decide to do in this Congress this year will shape whether or not the digital asset ecosystem has the opportunity to thrive here in the United States. But right now, there's not a workable framework in place for digital asset issuers and intermediaries to be regulated effectively by the SEC or the CFTC.
We finally have the opportunity to harness and embrace this next generation of technology here in the United States, and we must seize this opportunity.
End regulation by enforcement.
The SEC and the CFTC have created an impossible situation where the same firms are subject to competing.
So basically, they're just, they're fighting back against the SEC here. I don't want to bore you with all of it, but very, very bullish stuff, guys. So from 15, okay. So yeah, I mean, just in case, guys, also, if you're watching the stream on replay, this part, the little video I just played, will likely be cropped out just because of the music, just so you know. So you might have missed that part of it. But anyway, we'll see what happens. So yeah, very, very bullish, guys. We got 2 bills being voted on this week. Let's get rid of Gensler and Warren, and let's freaking go. Looks like the groundwork is being laid. We're finally here, right? It's happening right before our eyes. This is history in the making right now. History in the making. Nicholas, what's up, big dog? What's up, brother? Good to see you, man. Brian, my 2 RWA plays are Swift and Emerald Company. Nice. 2 great projects, man. Certified scam, 100%. H. Barbarina in the house. What's going on, my friend? What is going down? As always, guys, like I say, if you're new, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. And let's continue on here. What else do we got? What else do we got going on? Here's some bullish news for you. Look at World Economic Forum's Klaus Schwab is stepping down as executive chairman. His famous quote was, "You will own nothing and be happy." That's the guy, right? So River, what's going on? Welcome in. Good to see you. Good to see you. So he is stepping down. Very bullish there. Right. A lot of wrongs over the last 5 to 6 years are starting to be righted here, guys. The ship seems to be getting put back on the right course, right? Michael Vandepop says, "I've sold my Bitcoin." That's correct. I see an opportunity in other segments of Web 3.0 ecosystem to make a return, then to make more Bitcoin. So basically, he's doing exactly what I've been telling you guys for months now, right? You take your profits from your alts and then you roll that into Bitcoin later, right? That's the method, guys. That's how you should be doing this, right? Consistency and sticking to your plan. That is what is going to get you to early retirement for you, for your children, for your grandchildren, right? It's just staying the course. So remember that, guys. What else do we got? Stephens Crypto says the next move for Jasmy is imminent. As you can see, we are right here on the 3-day chart, just kissing resistance. Got to break out of this bull flag, guys, and to the upside. We'll see what happens, right? We will stay on top of that. All right, Tom Emmer says, "I've been working on the Securities Clarity Act with Rep. Darren Soto since 2020. This legislation will enshrine the law that a token does not in of itself constitute a security, which gives this technology the flexibility to evolve from centralization to decentralization." Very, very bullish, guys. We're going to be live streaming this vote on the bill, I believe on Wednesday. We will be, or no, actually, I think it's Thursday or Friday. The CBDC framework bill is what we're streaming on Wednesday. So what else do we got? So I did a short on this, guys, but check it out. More bullishness as 1 billion USDT was minted today. Now, people don't mint USDT if they're not planning on putting it into the market, right? So incoming pump, is that going into Ethereum? Is it on the sidelines waiting for news on the Ethereum ETF? I don't know. Let's find out together. What else is going on? West Coast LA says Jasmy on the 4-hour chart clearly marching up, making higher highs and higher lows. Patience, Jasmy fam, slow and steady is the best, and then sudden boom. Yes, as I said, we're coming up on that resistance level once again, guys. We got to break through that 2 cent 1 level, break up above 2 cent 2, and off to the moon we go. And what else is going on? Check this out. Stealth EX says some popular cryptos on our list. What's number 2? Boom, Jasmy. That's right. You love to see it, guys. You love to see the exchanges giving free advertising to Jasmy. Neosun says Jasmy enables authentication via My Number card in Japan. Using My Number card authentication with Jasmy provides a double layer of security. Firstly, it allows for reliable verification and validation of user identity through the Japanese personal identification number. This enhances trust in online transactions and interactions with government services. Additionally, the link between My Number card and Jasmy's personal data locker ensures secure data management within Jasmy's blockchain. This secure connection ensures that users' associated information is stored and managed with the highest security standards while preserving confidentiality. By combining these two elements, Jasmy offers a comprehensive and reliable solution to the data authentication protection. Absolutely. Rob, during the last video of Icy and Jasmy Samurai, they made a clear distinction between Jasmy and Janction. They highlighted this several times, not a Jasmy /10 partnership, but Janction 10. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. That's always been the case. Hara is he's the CEO of Janction and like the CFO or something like that at Jasmy. But that doesn't mean that it's not a subsidiary. It's a sister company. Think about it that way. Janction is their layer 2, right? Because listen, Jasmy does so many different things as a company. You have to understand that, right? Janction is Jasmy's. No, well, yes and no. Yes and no. Think about it this way. Janction is Jasmy's cryptocurrency industry branch, you can call it, right? Because listen, they do so much more. Again, they're in crypto with Jasmy coin, right? Which is why they have their layer 2, and Janction will run that part of it, right? Then they're also in Jasmy secure PCs, which has nothing to do with cryptocurrency, right? They do a lot of other things, right? So you have to keep that in mind. So Janction is basically their sister company that handles the cryptocurrency aspect of it, right? It's still the same company. It doesn't, and they tie Janction into almost everything because, listen, here's where it's important, okay? Because when Jasmy makes a partnership or something, or Janction, whichever, right? They always utilize the PDL to onboard new people within every single partnership, right? So yes. Think about it as like a sister company for their blockchain or that department's company or something along those lines, right? So do they both benefit from each other's success? Janction GPU and Jasmy's PDL. Trying to understand the PDL is for Janction. It's built on Janction, right? The PDL is on the layer 2, which is Janction. So owned by Jasmy, created by Jasmy, but put onto their layer 2, which is Janction. You're thinking about it too separately, right? You're too worried about them being completely separate entities, and that's not how it works, right? Like I said, so yes, PDL is created by Jasmy, but the PDL is on the layer 2, which is also Janction, which was also created by Jasmy, right? So yeah, I'm trying to think of the best analogy to, that's kind of like being worried about the fact that, that Sony makes TVs, but they also make, stereos or PlayStations. So like they're both owned by the same entity. They're both created by the same entity, right? It's all under Sony. So yes, they benefit from each other's success. So would love to see a visual from this bridge, Yeah, well, I wish I had one for you. Time is money, DCA HODL. We got to stay above 2 cents. Yes, we did. We are still above 2 cents. Holding strong, baby. All right. What else do we got? The Wolf of All Streets says everything has changed. Democrats pushed back against Biden and Warren and voted for crypto. The FDIC chair in Warren was privately protecting and who orchestrated choke point 2.0 is stepping down. That's another bullish thing, guys. The FDIC chair that Warren was privately protecting, who orchestrated the choke point 2.0, is stepping down. Elizabeth Warren's anti-crypto army has just been utterly decimated, right? The ETH ETFs are likely to be approved now as a result of the tide change. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, Elizabeth Warren, this is in an election year, this is devastating to her campaign. Devastating. She has egg all over her face. Biden has the Democrats have essentially turned their back on her in this fight that she picked. She picked this fight. Keep that in mind, right? The crypto industry did nothing to her. She picked this fight. And now she is devastated in her campaign. She looks awful. She's taken loss after loss, just like Gary Gensler. And they've brought it on themselves. Nobody started with them. They picked this fight themselves. And now they got to lay in the bed that they made. I don't feel bad for either one of them. All right. Bitcoin. So Steps Crypto says Bitcoin broke out of a massive bull flag on the 3-day time frame. The price target is set at approximately 112K. We might actually come back down here real quick, though, guys, and retest this as support, right, before we head up, because generally you will, but this did wick down and tested here, so maybe not. But either way, jumping out of this bull flag on the 3-day, 112K for Bitcoin. Absolutely love to see it, man. Overcome in the house. What's up, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. What else? Let's check in on the Dixie again, guys. See what she's doing. Well, still kind of just, still bearish. We still got time for this little tiny green candle to turn red, maybe dump to the downside. We really need to see an accelerated dump on this, guys. We need to see this dump down to like 99. Like we need to see it dump. This needs to dump somewhere down here, right? I'll put a right about. Right about there. That's what we need to see. We need to see this dump all the way down to here to see, and because we would love to see that, because crypto would run like crazy if we see that dump. This may be a stupid question, but what is RWA? Real world assets. So cryptos that have real world utility, essentially, to sum it up. So it's basically a narrative, right? All right. Anthony Popliano on Ethereum ETF approval. The last dam to be broken for the crypto industry. He says the possible SEC approval of the spot Ethereum ETF has everyone in the crypto space talking. Even strong voices such as Anthony Popliano, who suggested that this can be a monumentous occasion for the whole crypto industry. Anthony is one of the prominent Bitcoin maximalists and entrepreneurs who have spoken on the potential approval of an Ethereum ETF. He said in his recent tweet, if they approve the Ethereum ETF, they're approving an entire industry. This is the last dam to be broken. He remarks that the approval on the Ethereum ETF will mean that Wall Street will fully embrace the crypto space, and this will be pivotal after the Bitcoin ETF approval. According to a recent news, the odds of the SEC's approval of the spot Ethereum ETF have surged to 75%, up from previous 25%. This has happened because Bloomberg analysts look positive in their latest assessment, along with the SEC seeking updates on 19B-4 filings from NASDAQ and CBOE. Market reacted positively to these developments. Ethereum's price soared above 3650 for the first time since April 9th and reached $3,735. The 20.7% price pump underscores the market's anticipation and confidence in the potential approval. Only some people in the crypto space are as optimistic. Dogecoin co-founder Billy Marcus doesn't believe the SEC will ever approve an Ethereum ETF this year. This division reflects the broader uncertainty, the difference in expectation within the crypto community. Although the chances of an Ethereum ETF approval appear high, many regulatory challenges still need to be overcome. The major problem, is that the SEC could label Ethereum as a security. No, it can't. It can't label it a security. It has to actually sue them in court and prove that they're a security. The SEC can't just say this is a security. They can say it, but it doesn't make it legally a security. I hate reading that in articles because it's not fact, right? The SEC cannot just dictate something is a security and then it's that by law, right? Another factor is the SEC's history of cautious and stringent oversight, especially under the crypto skeptical Gary Gensler, which adds another layer of uncertainty. The regulatory past reluctance to approve the Bitcoin ETF over market manipulation concerns, despite eventually being compelled to do so following a court challenge by Grayscale's investments, simply illustrates how the SEC can be unpredictable in making decisions. The approval of the Ethereum ETF would mark a watershed moment in the cryptocurrency industry, opening up a torrent of institutional investment. Companies such as ARK Invest, BlackRock, VanEck, Grayscale have all filed submissions for the spot funds-based Ethereum, following the precedent set by Bitcoin's ETF. So, guys, what I would say about this Ethereum ETF potential here is, what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep dry powder on the side, because if Gary pulls a swerve on us and denies it after like pumping the market like this, right? Because now the market is pricing in an approval. So if they deny it on Wednesday, market's going to dump fairly hard. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm just saying I'm going to be ready for it just in case it happens, right? And then I'm going to scoop up like nobody's business. So as I always tell you guys, be prepared for the worst, but expect the best, right? So, I mean, hopefully you guys have been dollar cost averaging already, because we could be headed to the moon. But if Gary swerves on us and denies it, then we could see a pretty big correction in the market as a result. So would love to hear about the potential Jasmy and Futureverse partnership and what the implications it can have in Jasmy's success. A little insight into what is Futureverse. I can do a video on that. I can certainly do a video on that. Just give me some time. Maybe in the next couple of days, I'll do a little bit of a dive and see what I can find. I've talked about Futureverse before. I've done videos on it before. So yeah, I'll freshen up on it, and I will definitely do a video on it for you guys. That is no issue. All right, so what else is going on? Oh yes, so Wednesday's a busy day, guys, because we have the hearing for the the congressional hearing for the CBDC bill, right? That we're going to be live streaming, but then I'm also going to be live streaming this immediately after that. Okay, so this is Junction is doing an AMA with their new partner, 10 Protocol, right? So I will be streaming this on Wednesday as well. So we have two big live streams on Wednesday. We have the CBDC bill vote that we're going to be streaming in the morning, And then we're going to be streaming the Junction and 10 protocol AMA after that. So you guys make sure you're getting your snacks and stuff. Wednesday is going to be a content-filled day for sure. So what else do we got? Just in, the SEC told exchanges it is leaning towards approval of the Ethereum ETF. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, we got that, right? We got that. And we got more. We got more. Check it out. As per Watcher Guru, Fidelity files updated S1 application. So all of them have now, all of the applicants for the most part, have updated their S1 filings and sent them back into the SEC. We have until, what is it, Tuesday today? So we have tomorrow. This is tomorrow, guys. Is it tomorrow that it's happening? I'm pretty sure it's Wednesday, isn't it? Crazy. Absolutely crazy. And guys, if you're holding Gala and you've been a little bit bummed out, I got some bullish news for you on Gala. Check it out. Exciting news. The Dog Pound is dropping 2 exclusive tracks on Go Gala Music on May 21st, which is today. Pre-sale for the Stash Box owners at 12 p.m. 100 copies each, $100 each. So Snoop Dogg doing a little bit of dropping a couple of tracks on Gala Music. A little bit of bullishness for you Gala holders out there. Thomas in the house. What's going on, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see you. And we got this here. Remember Prometheum? What do they know? Check this out.
Remember Prometheum?
Prometheum's website says that Prometheum ATS supports, quote, many tokens that mostly trade on crypto exchanges, end quote. Can Prometheum customers trade in Ether?
Not currently.
Can Prometheum customers trade in Bitcoin?
No.
If the current system is working, why can't your customers trade the most popular and widely used digital assets?
Regulation and new ATSs and custodians should take a crawl, walk, run approach, and essentially they will proceed to add additional assets and abilities as time goes on. I'd like to point out when the...
I'm going to reclaim my time. If anything, the fact that Prometheum's customers cannot trade some of the most popular digital assets is an illustration of the broader problem, Mr. Kaplan.
Prometheum is soft launching their Ether custody services. And if you look further in this article, and that is if ETH is not a security, then it makes it an asset illegal to handle by a securities firm like Prometheum. So if they are in fact going to do it, you just don't know. Right now, they are playing it much like they did early on, and what they've been doing in terms of posturing with Congress and with the Senate for quite some time. Remember, this was the hand-picked company that we saw by the SEC. So they're still a player in this chessboard. I don't know how it's going to play out, though, for sure.
They're going to lose. That's what's going to play out. It's not going to be good for them. Not going to be good for them at all. And the thing is, guys, is that for me, I don't think that anybody, even if Prometheum does start trading digital assets, I think as a community, as a crypto community as a whole, we should be boycotting this company because their CEO tried to testify in Congress to have Ethereum and the alts classified as securities. He worked against the crypto community in detriment to us as investors. We should boycott Prometheum if and when they ever are able to actually trade digital assets. We should let them go out of business. That's what you get for working against the crypto industry. Screw you guys. Tomorrow is Wednesday. Yes. All right. So yes. So tomorrow we have the bill vote, and then the day after tomorrow, we have the Junction 10 protocol AMA. So 2 days in a row of bullishness, of live streams with these major situations, and then we also have the Ethereum ETF approval. I think on Wednesday. I'm pretty sure it's tomorrow, but it might be Friday. I'm kind of foggy on it, but and then we also have the Biden, whether he's going to sign or veto the Sub 121 bill that's on his desk right now. That's this week as well. There's a lot going on this week, guys. A lot. Tara, I'm already boycotting. I have my cold storage wallet. Nice. You know, it's a funny story. I moved some crypto from my cold storage wallet yesterday. And I hadn't used it in so long. I forgot how to operate the damn thing. I don't think I've used that one in like 2 years or something like that. I moved stuff on there and then I just, put it in the safe and haven't touched it since, kind of thing. So I had to relearn how to operate the damn thing. All right, what else do we got going on? 1 second here, guys. 1 second. Okay, so look back over at the markets. And now we're just waiting for Jesse to get here. I'm sure he'll be here any moment. So fire your questions at me. I hope you guys have some questions for Jesse as well. It's always a good time when Jesse stops by. He's a good buddy. We've become good friends over this last, year or so. I love having him on the channel. Absolute delight. The guy's amazing. Takes his time to come and hang out with us. Greatly appreciated. What's Jasmy doing right now? 2 cents 03. There's still some good DCA opportunities out there right now. Bitcoin's 69, basically 69.5. Yo, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's happening, man?
Just chilling, being solid.
How's it going today?
Pretty good, man. Weather's nice. Everything's good. The market looks good. What a 180 we had yesterday, eh?
From what? From just the downward momentum, or?
Well, just from the Ethereum ETF, like out of left field, the market was red, and then, did you catch much of it, or were you busy yesterday?
I saw where they said, the odds of it getting approved went from 25% to 75%.
Yeah, because apparently yesterday, the SEC sent notices to all of the applicants that they needed to make this adjustment to remove the staking from their ETH application, their ETFs, right?
Yeah.
To make them identical to the Bitcoin ones. And but they asked for it in an accelerated time frame because they wanted it tweaked before the deadline. Which is, I think, tomorrow, isn't it? I think it's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's like right around the corner.
Yeah, so that made everyone think, okay, well, why would they ask for this? Not 2 days before the deadline, they would ask you to not only tweak your application, but tweak it as fast as you can and get it back to us, right? So we can say no.
Yeah, you never know, man. They like to wait till the last minute.
That would be funny if they did say no.
Yeah, the interesting thing, though, about the whole staking part of it is if you think about it, Bitcoin is proof of work, which means it has to be mined. So there is no staking, right? But Ethereum recently, made their big change, and now there is staking. So that's kind of like an added wrinkle that maybe the SEC just doesn't know what to do with yet,
Well, it really makes you believe that, especially since what happened with Kraken, right, that the SEC very clearly sees staking as a security action, right?
Potentially. It's taxable. I don't know.
Which can be kind of negative because, there's a lot of proof of stake projects out there, right? Like...
Yeah. Really, the layer one, obviously it's layer one, right? It was like the first iteration of this whole thing. Staking came later, so there's a lot more that are, you can stake your coins. And it kind of goes down to like the whole like game theory idea, right? So you got to have like game theory to incentivize people to participate in this thing. And so the whole staking aspect, I mean, honestly, kind of makes a lot of sense. And you're offering returns that people would never get in TradFi, right? You're never going to find 25% APY. I mean, give me a break, right? If your savings account, like especially here in the US, I mean, your savings account just returns nothing. Like whenever I hear about people that have large amounts of cash that they're just holding in their savings account, I'm thinking, God, you're mismanaging your money. Like you're getting no return and you're probably actually losing money because of inflation, Yeah.
Your value is going down faster than you're getting interest on it. So absolutely. Yeah. That $1 million you have in your bank account is going to be worth about 250 in 10 years, right?
Correct. That's exactly right. I mean, all you got to do is look at that. There's like that main chart that shows the buying power of the US dollar just plummeting over time. And that kind of tells you all you need to know. So, I mean, going back to the whole staking thing, it makes sense on the game theory side of things. Now, another kind of wrinkle with staking that I've kind of learned a little bit is sometimes you can get a higher rate, but if the project itself isn't going up relatively with it, then great, you're getting a higher rate of something that's worth less and less.
Yeah.
Right. So sometimes the rate of the stake may not even really matter as much as like, is it a good project, right? So like you could take something like Ethereum and say, well, look at Ethereum historically. Do you think it's going to keep going up? Probably. I mean, there's no reason to say it won't, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if it gets approved, Ethereum's going to be, I could easily see it being 8 to 10 grand this bull run. I'm right in line with that. If they get maybe even higher than that, if these big funds get in the way that people started getting in, same thing that we talked about before with the Bitcoin ETFs. If you start getting retirement funds or pension funds and all these other banks and institutions buying up the Ethereum ETFs as well, who knows where the price could go, right? I mean, we saw what happened to the price of Bitcoin.
Yep. And the price of Bitcoin's just getting started. I had actually posted just the other day on this that it was also big news that Goldman. No, not Goldman. Sorry. It was big news that the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust CEO was stepping down for a Goldman guy, right? And the Goldman guy apparently was known for he's known for like acquisitions and things like that, potentially selling it, whatever. And so there's a lot of things going on the ETF side of things that are really interesting right now. Which other one was it? There was another one that there was a guy from BlackRock taking it over, and you know that one.
JP Morgan.
JP Morgan.
Yeah, the BlackRock guy came over to JP Morgan, or no, not JP Morgan. What was it? It was the one place that said that they were not going to have ETF approved.
Vanguard. That's what it was. Yeah, now you're reminding me. Okay. Yeah. Hey, if both of us kind of half-ass remember it, eventually we'll figure it out, right? Yeah, but case in point, right? So Vanguard, I mean, look at all their retirement funds. Look at all the funds they have across the board everywhere. Now you got an ETF guy that going to be in charge of that, right? I mean, that's a huge deal. Then you look at Grayscale, and Grayscale has just been hemorrhaging Bitcoin because they charge 6 times more than BlackRock, right? Like, why would any of these investment funds stay with Grayscale? It makes no sense at all financially, right? So the point is if the new guy taking over Grayscale can say, hey, you know what? We want to be more competitive. We're slashing our fee down, to the same thing as BlackRock. Leaks stopped, right? Now everybody kind of just is set at zero, and then it just starts growing again. So really, the Bitcoin ETFs, I don't think the entire market fully understands this. What a big deal that this is. This is like the catalyst of catalysts, and it's kind of like it's been growing, but it's misleading because Grayscale has been dropping the whole time everybody else has been growing. But if you stop them from dropping, then everybody's growing, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I did a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before. And I mean, mathematically, at the current rate that Bitcoin is being bought up by these ETF applicants and everybody else, there's right now 1.8 million BTC left in reserve on exchanges. That's it. Right? That's not a lot, man.
That's gonna go quick.
Yeah, at the current pace, I was watching a thing. At the current pace, they got about 9 to 10 months left, and there's going to be no more BTC left in reserve on exchanges. And so that leads the miners eventually, the exchanges eventually are going to turn to these hedge funds, these BlackRocks, your Fidelities, whoever, and they're going to say, you know what? We're not selling OTC anymore. You're going to have to buy it spot like everybody else on the market, right? And that's when the price of Bitcoin's really going to start to go up. I mean, they're not just going to sell all of their Bitcoin on OTC, right?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And at some point they got to start giving out smaller and smaller and smaller pieces, right? I saw a really good Reddit post the other day where it was somebody was saying something about that they were arguing with their father-in-law about Bitcoin, right? And he said, well, Bitcoin is just infinite money because of Satoshis. You can just kind of keep slashing it and it just goes on forever. And the really funny thing was the very first number one comment said something about you can slice a pizza as many times as you want. It's still the same size. It's like, come on, Dad, let's figure this out,
That is really genius. Yeah, but they will start rationing the Satoshis more. My mind immediately went to that scene from what's that Christmas movie? I can't remember what it's called, with Scrooge and Mickey Mouse is and he's slicing the bread and he slices it so thin that it's transparent.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it's going to be like. Yeah, but they're running out, right, of BTC. And I've been warning people about this for about 2 weeks now. And, because you're not going to be able to buy it anywhere anymore very, very soon in terms of exchanges. And then what's going to happen is BlackRock and all of these institutions are going to turn to the miners to buy it directly from them. And then we're completely cut off from the middleman, right? They've just eliminated the middleman altogether, right? And then where are people like you and I, going to have to buy our BTC? Well, we're going to have to buy Bitcoin ETFs from BlackRock, right?
That's one way to do it, yeah.
It's a genius way for them to corner the market.
That could happen. The interesting thing with saying they'll buy it from the miners is at the moment, I think what are there, 10, 11 of them? I think at least 9 or 10 are all custodians based, which means that Coinbase just handles it for them, right?
Yeah.
So for Coinbase to be the custodian and then to offer access to mined Bitcoin might be a new wrinkle in that is like something that's not available to retail, right? But maybe they do get access that way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's all possible, man, especially when it comes to BlackRock. Essentially, companies like that can do whatever they want.
Right.
Because another thing I said, it must have been about a week and a half ago, I was ranting and raving about it, as I do, right? I was talking about about the pressure. I said, somebody from the White House, once those bills passed the House last week, and Biden put out that letter saying he was going to veto the SAB 121, right? And Trump came out the same day promoting crypto. And I don't know if you heard, but a couple days later, which was I think the day before yesterday, Trump came out again and said, if elected, he will fire Gary Gensler. He specifically talked about Gary Gensler. Right? So I said, at some point, very, very soon, someone from the White House is going to be either heading down to the SEC or calling Gary on the phone and saying, this is affecting the presidential election. You need to back off.
Yeah, and maybe that's what's going on with the Ethereum ETF, right?
Yeah, just like that, right?
Yeah,
all of a sudden.
yeah. Well, who'd have thunk it, right? Somebody made a phone call and was like, Gary, get your head out of your ass. Here's what you got to do. And he went, yep, okay.
Exactly. Yep, guaranteed. You watch. And it won't be surprising if the Ethereum ETF gets approved, all of them, and then Biden signs the freaking SOB 121 on his desk or ignores it and doesn't sign it, because even if he doesn't sign it, it still goes into law, is my understanding, just without his signature, right? I don't think he'll veto it. I think he'll 180 on it. And I think it's because his advisors are looking at the situation on a broader scope, and the early polls are showing that Trump is kicking his ass, right? Because of this crypto issue, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, not to talk politics, but, you know, I don't know if in the US we ever imagined that there would be a race like this. So the two geriatrics, and one guy is facing, you know, like 200 felonies or whatever the number is. And the other guy is behind him. Like, that is just like a baffling concept. You know, it's like, we're so used to living in like Crazyville that, you know, nobody really thinks about this every day. Like, okay, so wait a minute. So this guy's facing like 200 felonies. Okay, that's not good. You know, and you go down the laundry list of things he's done wrong, and it's like an infinite list, right? But then the other guy's losing. It's like, boy, you really got to suck on the other side to be losing to that guy. You know, it's like, come on, man. You know, in this crypto issue, I mean, case in point is like, you know, like you said, like Trump came out right away and was like, hey, I'm for crypto. Right. And it's like Biden, like, hello, are you awake over there? Come on, man. Like, you know, you got to do something here. And clearly, you know, Elizabeth Warren has been on a losing position the entire time. That's not a winning brand. And I think probably somewhere in the Democratic Party, they've started to, you know, the younger part of the Democratic Party is like, what are you doing? Right? Maybe they're finally getting through. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, you're absolutely right, and you really got to suck, like you said, to be losing to a guy who's essentially been generally hated and pushed hate on him for the last 6 years now in Trump, right? And he's kicking your ass.
Yeah, right? I don't know. It's a sad state of America at the moment.
Let's get into a couple of the comments here in the chat. See, Patrick's in the house. What's going on, man? What's going on, brother?
What's up?
GSD now. Rob, are there any exchanges that let you cash out more than 500 to 100K per day? I ask for when we rake in the millions. I think every exchange, based on the level of KYC you complete, I believe, depending on the exchange, I think that most of them are limited to something along those lines per day. Some are less than that. And really, at the end of the day, it's a liquidity issue, right? I mean, they can't have everybody trying to pull, you know, $1 million each out of the market at the off the exchange at the same time, right?
Yeah, that's called
that's more just, yeah, it's just a liquidity issue, right? So, William in the house, Pluto,
hello,
Tom Crown. Oh, got a celebrity in the house. Tom's in the house, guys. I always watch Tom Crown, man. Fantastic channel. Thanks for being here, Tom. Shout out, man. First time YouTube served me this channel. Good morning. Good morning, brother. Good morning. Well, I'm on your channel all the time, brother. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for the comment, man. Biden has no idea what's going on. He's recently said he was trying to VP during the pandemic and told him to go to Detroit and fix it. Yeah, I mean, the guy falls asleep half the time at the podium, right? So, I mean, I could sit here all day just replaying quotes of his of just nonsensical things that aren't even words.
Yeah.
Welcome to Crypto YouTube. Thank you, Tom. Thank you so much, brother. It's a funny story, Tom. I actually, when I had about 100 subscribers when I first started the channel. It was a little over a year ago, and I made a comment on one of your posts on X, and I was like, "Man, I started my channel and I've got about 100 subscribers, and you told me to keep going, man. You told me to keep going hard and stuff." And so, thank you so much, Tom. I appreciate it, man. You probably don't remember that, but I do. So, welcome back, Jesse. Do you ever?
Thanks,
what's that?
I said thanks, Kevin.
Oh, Kevin, yeah. Do either of you believe we're on the verge of an alt season? If so, how far away are we? I still think we're going to grind. Actually, Jesse, you answer first.
I don't think we've seen Bitcoin season yet. So you got to have Bitcoin season before altcoin season. And Bitcoin season, like I said earlier, I think it's been building. You're right. It's like the volcano that's sort of churning. Things are bubbling a little bit. There's a little bit of steam coming out here and there, but it hasn't blown yet. So I think the alt season will be coming at sometime after that, obviously, end of the year, beginning of next year, somewhere in the spring, who knows, something like that.
Yeah, 100% agree. I think that over the next couple of months, probably till Q3, we're probably going to grind upwards, but in a sideways kind of trajectory, right? It's going to feel like we're just going sideways. Is basically what we're doing right now. I think is what we'll be doing with the altcoins for the next couple of months still, right? Like Jesse said, same thing. I think that Bitcoin hasn't even started its run yet, in my opinion. However, we've talked about before how usually about 6 months after the halving, according to last cycles, right, Bitcoin's usually double in price than what it was the day of the halving, which leads us to about $128,000 Bitcoin by October, November. Whether we get there or not, that's another story. We're just talking about what's happened in the past, right? But that is within the realm of possibility. A lot of people calling for 150K by the end of the year. But again, all of that before we see altcoin season. Alts will be pulled up gradually, with Bitcoin, in my opinion, but they're not going to pop off not until much later. So, for my long-winded answer.
Yeah, I think also that Plan B had posted recently about. He said, I think the way he put it was within a couple of months post halving, that 2 to 5, 6 month window is usually when kind of all the miners recover from the shock of getting half the rewards, and then things really start taking off again. So there could be some truth in that also. Historically, there is.
Yeah, 100%. What else do we got? Juicy Jasmy, 100% overcoming the house. So yeah, like I was saying, I'm going to be streaming these. I don't know if you're going to be watching these two bills that are in Congress this week, but not as many people are paying attention to the CBDC bill that's I think tomorrow.
Okay.
I believe that is tomorrow morning, and very, very important bill in my opinion, because it's laying out, I'm sure you probably know this, but it's laying out legislation and a legal framework for the anti-surveillance, right? It's an anti-surveillance act in terms of the CBDC, right? So that there will be rules in place so that we're not ending up like China at the end of the day, right?
Well, maybe yes, maybe no. Don't let the freedom in the U.S. fool you into think that people aren't watching.
This is true.
That's all kind of smoke and mirrors. Look at like the NSA, like look at Snowden and all these things, like they're watching, right? Let's be honest. And out of all the organizations in the US, the ones that watch the most are probably like the CIA and the IRS, okay?
Oh yeah, so, IRS for sure.
Yeah, so like when you think about the IRS, think of what it would mean for, like, let's say auditing When somebody gets audited, all these things, right? If you had a CBDC that had a ledger attached to it, right? I mean, good luck hiding your money. I mean, really, there's still ways around it, right? There's other exchanges of payment that you could do between parties, entities, whatever. But the CBDC, I mean, it's coming at some point, and there is going to be some sort of government oversight of it. And like the way that, I've thought this for a long time, like the way that we do money today is just kind of absurd. It's like, oh yeah, we printed some coins, and here's some heavy metals to put in your pocket. I mean, it's just so dumb, right? And here's some paper money that has been touched by 18,000 people, and it's got 15 diseases on it, and it's crumpled up, and it's been rained on and pissed on and whatever. Here you go, right? Like just the idea of exchanging physical currency is ridiculous, especially today. Like, I mean, we really should be all doing all this stuff digitally, but again, I think what happens often is technology advances way beyond what the government laws in place can handle, right? And so typically the tech comes first, then the government laws, then all the court cases adjudicating it and trying to figure it out.
Then they fight you.
Yeah.
100%, man. Did you listen to Icy's interview today with Jasmy Samurai? Or it was yesterday, sorry.
I have not heard the interview, but I saw the post on Reddit that I think he was talking to, it's like Kionism. That guy's pretty good. He's been a mod forever in the Jasmy Reddit space.
Yeah.
He always posts a lot of good stuff.
We got the Junction is doing an AMA with 10 protocol on the 23rd, so the day after tomorrow.
Right.
I don't know.
Japanese time also.
Yeah, well, Japanese time. Yeah, I already figured it out what time. It's going to be like 10:30 in the morning my time. So
yeah, you need like a decoder ring to figure out what the time conversion is,
Yeah. My question is it going to be is it going to be like the last one Hara did where it was video, or is it going to be just, I don't know how many of those AMAs they do where they just kind of type, right?
It probably depends. If they're hosting it on X, then usually they get somebody like Moonlight to kind of be the moderator, and she asks them, different questions and whatever, and it goes back and forth. If they don't do it that way, and they did it on what's their other platform on the phone? I'm drawing a blank right now. I don't know. Telegram. There you go. Telegram. Yeah. If they did on Telegram, obviously it would just be digital. I think Hara's preference is to do it probably digital, even though he will talk and he will, go on camera and those things. But I think he's the most comfortable doing it digitally because, he knows English, but it's not his first language. And I think he likes to formulate his responses. So
his last AMA he did was on Telegram, and he did it on video.
Okay.
So I remember because I think Dip asked him the last 3 questions, and they were actually, out of all the questions that were asked, they were actually intelligent questions, right? So
yeah. But the problem with that though is that you're kind of putting him on the spot, and if you actually sit there and listen to those, he doesn't always fully answer the question, not because he's trying. It's not like there's any intent behind him not answering the question. It's usually just he doesn't understand completely what's being asked, Yeah.
Well, and that's just it, right? I mean, I can't imagine being put on the spot like that, trying to translate to another language live, It's like thousands of people watching. Let's go. That's funny.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel we've begun to see the inflows from Hong Kong ETF, or are we waiting for the right time to jump in the market? I understand they also have ETFs. I mean, yeah, we probably started to feel it a little bit, but we're still waiting to find out if we can see mainland China participate via their what is it called again? Their stock. I can't remember what it's called.
There was a way for them to participate through Hong Kong, as I recall.
Yeah, Stock Connect. That's what it's called. Yeah, where they can participate from mainland China into the and that's what that's what they're looking into right now. So when that gets the green light, that is when I would expect to see a much more impactful effect on the price when that happens, because mainland China, that's a lot of investors, coming into the fold, right? And if you think right now that they don't want to be a part of it right now, that they're not chopping at the bit, think about how we were chopping at the bit. We're chopping at the bit right now for an Ethereum ETF, right? They're doing the same thing there, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the amount of capital that they could throw into it is, again, on a staggering level. So we haven't seen anything yet from that. I don't think.
I'm 100% convinced that maybe not in 2029, 2030's bull run, maybe 2033, something like that. But I'm convinced we will see $1 million Bitcoin. I have no doubt that we will. Right? It's just a matter of when. It might be a little bit too soon to say 2029, 2030, because even if we get to 300K this bull run, which, like you said, like Plan B is calling for and stuff like that, that's still quite a stretch from 300K peak to $1 million in one bull run, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe 700,000, something like that the next time around, 650. But I mean, sometimes people need to understand that sometimes it's a bridge too far in one bull run. Like I'll use Dogecoin as an example, right? Everyone was convinced of that psychological level of $1 for Dogecoin in the last bull run. And it got to what, 72 cents, 73 cents? That's
still pretty good.
That's amazing. But it's just a bridge too far. They just ran out of road, right? For the bull run.
Yeah, maybe. I was looking at Doge the other day, and I think the market cap was like 24 billion or something. Mm-hmm. That's insane for Doge. Oh, yeah. That is insane. Even the guy who created it, Billy, I mean, he's on X and he posts all the time. I mean, he's just like a guy that created a dog coin, I mean, it is insane how much money is in Dogecoin. But the reality is it kind of got fire. It got some hype behind it. Elon started talking about it on a regular basis, and it was off to the races. And I think where I'm going with this is, every bull run, you start seeing those posts, especially on X, that it's like, here's my predictions for the top these 10 coins or these 20 coins, right? And it's kind of like it's always a prediction that's just too far, right? Like if I was predicting, I'd be like, Jasmy, $10, right? And if Jasmy goes over 3 like Cardano, that's a win, okay? Yeah. And I think it's the same thing like with Doge. They go, Doge, $5, and it's like if Doge hit $2, I mean, come on. That's insanity,
I agree 100%. That's one of my strategies is actually, I did a video on it, but one of my strategies is another project I'm going into pretty big right now called Swift Coin, right? The Swift blockchain. And so at first I was like, I just accumulated about 1 million coins and I was like, well, we'll see. But then I decided with that one to go in a different direction in terms of my regular strategy, because my normal strategy, as you know, is just to find my price points to where I think it's going to, whatever given project's going to go. Like if I think Jasmy's going to go to $1, then I'm starting to take 10% out around 46 cents, right? And as we go up, I continue to work my way out. But with Swift, I decided I was going to employ a different strategy just for this specific project. So I figured, if I want to pull $1 million out of Swift, then it needs to go to $1 because I got 1 million coins, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, you know what? Maybe if I just buy 4 million coins, I can get out at 25 cents, way ahead of the psychological level of $1, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Everyone else will be fighting over $1, trying to place and there'll be a lot of buy orders still around 25 cents. as opposed to around $1. It's going to be a lot harder to sell 1 million tokens at $1. You know, I think it'd be much easier to sell 4 million at 25 cents. People are FOMO's still there, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I mean, you do kind of run the risk of what if it goes higher?
I don't care. It's none of my business.
Cashing out.
Yeah, I'll take my cool mill pieces, ooses, deuces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I'm going to try that strategy just for Swift. Everything else, I keep my normal strategy where I just dollar cost average out of the market the same way I did in, and you know, but yeah. Just what do you think of the price of Jasmy before the parabolic moves around October? Because we don't have any major resistance till 12 cents, 32 cents, correct?
Yeah, right now, what are we at? 2 cents right now?
Yeah.
Let me look at my Jasmy chart. Where's my Jasmy chart? So by October, could we? I don't know. Well, I think it really kind of depends on, obviously, like I was saying before, these ETFs are going to influence everything, right? And the higher they can raise the boat before the real market starts, the better. Yeah, I mean, if you were starting to get up there, you know, gosh, if you were getting around 16 cents, I mean, yeah, it can start moving. And you know, I always talk about Cardano. You know, I think back to Cardano because Cardano for the longest time was kind of like floating around right where we are right now, right?
Yeah.
2-3 cents, something like that, you know, a couple cents, whatever. Then it steadily started picking up, you know, 5 cents, 8 cents, 10 cents, 12 cents. Then it's off to 20, 25, 40, 50, 75, and off it went, right? So, so I mean, you know, this is crypto. Anything is possible, you know, if this market starts moving. And going back to the ETFs and in Grayscale in particular, you plug the leak of Grayscale, everything starts going. And then at some point, you know, we've all talked about how really from the retail side, retail isn't back yet. I mean, it's just not, right? I mean, you look at the common terms and things like that. No one's interested. Nobody cares yet. They will eventually because they're going to see these ETFs and they're going to see the price start, you know, double, something like that. And then it's going to catch everybody's eye and they're going to get in on it. So I think right now with Jasmy, we are kind of like right where we need to be. And I think we're even higher than I thought we were going to be at this point, which is great, right? I think the market maker has done a hell of a job with Jasmy kind of teeing it up. And I think they're going to continue to do that all along here. And so, you know, where Jasmy is like in the fall, I mean, right now we're 2 cents. If we were at like 14, 15 cents, I mean, that would be pretty good. That'd be a good place to be in. And typically, you know, like what I've seen in a lot of kind of projects that have, you know, are kind of like long standing, you know, maybe they get like a 5 to 7x somewhere in there. And then from that point on, who knows? Okay. So we're in here early enough. 5 to 7 from now, you know, again, 10 to 14, 15 cents by the end of the year. That's probably not unrealistic at all. And then when you throw on, you know, these ETFs and the potential supply shock, the minor kind of readjusting to the rewards, all those things play into this whole thing. So yeah, it could easily be there by the fall, something like that. And then when the real altcoin season starts, that's when everybody needs to be publishing their Jasmy to $10 posts. And if we go above 3, we're all winners.
Yeah, 100%. That and that's not even including any catalysts that may come along, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the next year and a half or so. I mean, I saw you catch it, the post that you had shared. I did a quick video on it when Hara had responded to the VC from Meta going down to Japan. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on that?
So Hara has said for quite a while that he wanted a US VC partner. And, you know, it's just kind of crazy that post came out there and Hara responded to it like, hey, this guy's in Japan. This doesn't happen every day. We want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, at the very least, I mean, if I was a VC and I had somebody like Hara who is connected to these Sony execs, you know, I mean, they have actual real products and real patents.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, why wouldn't you talk to them? I mean, you'd be crazy not to, you know?
You're here anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Who else are you talking to? I mean, you're probably talking to a star, right? I mean, if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, I made a quick video on it that night, just like a breaking news kind of 3-minute little video. And someone had said in the comments, how is this bullish? Hara's publicly begging to meet with them. I'm like, man, if you saw this as that, like, man, do you have a shitty view of the world? You know, like,
yeah,
I don't know. Like, how does your mind go to that? Like, he's begging to meet. I don't know. As people will find negative in anything, I suppose, right?
Yeah. You know, I mean, they're partnered with Panasonic. He's not begging anybody.
Yeah.
You know, they've already raised plenty of money. Jasmy from day one has never been hurting for money. Never.
Yeah.
So to think that they're begging for money, that's kind of weird. You know, I think I think a better way to look at it is kind of like how Hara acknowledged when Jasmy went over $1 billion market cap as being one of their longtime goals, right? One of our longtime goals is to be $1 billion market cap. Accomplished, check. Well, another one of our longtime goals is to have a US VC. Haven't checked that box yet, right?
Yeah.
So I think they want that connection for, you know, further bridge into the US to potentially market their products into the US, which they're really not there yet.
Oh yeah, they're not stupid. I mean, look at their partnership with C2E that they just made. Get that immediately afterwards. I think it was Jankshin that tweeted out that now they have their foot in the door out in in Korea. Then they plan on expanding and really planting some roots down there, right?
Yes. Yeah, and again, he was saying they wanted to get into Korea for a long time. I mean, he's been saying that for a couple of years now, that they wanted to get into Korea. So here they are doing it, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of people in Korea too, right?
Yes. Yeah, a lot of people. And by the way, let me just say also, this is a side thing. I'm going to sprinkle in a little extra here, right? So if you're ever bored, I don't know how I discovered this, but on YouTube, there is like an endless feed, an endless rabbit hole of Korean restaurant like videos of them making food in all kinds of different styles and ways and whatever, and they're just like cooking in the kitchen for like 45 minutes, right? And it's like the Korean burger place and the Korean hot dog place and the Korean sandwich place, and you know, and somehow I got in this loop of these. They make some really good looking food. Let me just say, like, I just sit there, like, I'm like, oh my God, I'm like, look at that food. That looks so good. And like, I would love to go to Korea and go on like a food tour.
Yeah.
Like all through South Korea, you know?
No kidding, man. No kidding. Maybe after the bull run, we'll go.
Yeah. Hey, you know, if we used to always say, you know, when Jasmy goes big, you know, at some point we're going to have the Jasmy yacht party in Tokyo. You know, and maybe a stop along the way would be the South Korean food tour, you know.
100%. We'll have the time and the money, right?
Right.
What else do we got? Be sincere in the house. Patrick, let's go. Absolutely, buddy. The ETH ETF news is great. Going back to Fink's comments that eventually the goal is everything will be tokenized, as the ETF in Japan would be golden. A Jasmy ETF. Yeah, I was going to talk about that actually. Is that not necessarily specific to Jasmy, but to ETFs as a whole? And I think Pompliano said it best earlier today. He said, this Ethereum ETF is the final dam to be broken. Because, I mean, listen, since the Bitcoin ETF approval, we've seen every content creator in the world with their favorite project talking about, you know, a Polkadot ETF is coming and an XRP ETF is coming, and, you know, like a Dogecoin ETF is coming, you know, like everyone's saying it, right? But this is the first time that I've publicly said this, because I thought at that point it was like, okay, we're getting a little bit of ahead of ourselves here, right? But with an Ethereum ETF getting approved, potentially, if it does get approved, I think that it does open the door. At that point, you're going to start seeing a lot of these altcoins start to get ETFs. And at the end of the day, I know a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people don't really understand the way these ETFs work and how important they are. But they're going to be, you know, complaining, why is the, you know, Jasmy not getting an ETF? It's not on the company, right? It's on these applicants to apply for these ETFs, right? I think that the next ones that we'll start to see is stuff like Avalanche, for example, right? We'll start to see ETFs from companies like that very, very quickly. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you, I think that ETH is the final dam there. I would agree. What do you think?
I think the ETF concept, right? The concept of the ETF, right? It's basically a derivative, okay? But it's a approved derivative in the market that gives more access to that asset class. Maybe not in the true sense of the form, right? Like not your keys, not your crypto, fine, whatever. But look at who's buying them, right? I mean, it's well beyond retail. Like this is institutional buying. Wants a safer version of crypto to buy while still having the upside, right? And that's basically what the whole ETF idea is. And so, you know, at some point, if it is not a security, could you have more ETFs than just Bitcoin, than just Ethereum? Sure, why not? You know, there's still questions to be answered. Like, you know, if it had an ICO, is it a security? Yes or no? Like, you know, or since it's now decentralized and it's run by a DAO, right? Is that a security? Yes or no? Did it start as a security, but now it's not security? Whatever. You know, I mean, some of that stuff has to get hashed out. But the biggest thing that can't be overlooked here is simply the access, right? And, you know, like you and I have talked about retirement accounts, you know, just getting that access in a retirement account to crypto is kind of, you know, it's like a roundabout way of getting there, but you're still getting there. That's huge. That's absolutely huge for crypto. Yeah. You know, even going back to that other comment about tokenization, right? I mean, the ETF is kind of like a tokenization of crypto in a way, right? Because it's a derivative. That's what it is. The future will be tokenized. You know, yeah. I used to always say the future will be rented, but now I'm saying also the future will be tokenized. That's true, you know.
Well, what we know about with the Ripple case is that initial ICOs are seen by judges, by the courts, as a security, right? We know that. Yep. So a lot of these companies that did that, and possibly Ethereum too, but I heard that Ethereum, actually their ICO, it was past the statute of limitations for the SEC to even go after them for in the first place. However, we know that, again, with the Ripple case, that they decided to split the baby, right? And say, okay, well, your initial coin offering was a security sale, but, you know, selling on a secondary market's not. So we may just see a slew of companies who did ICOs have to pay fines for their ICOs and then just move forward from that point on secondary markets, right?
Yeah.
I think that kind of would clear that up anyway, since there's already precedent. I know, but there's two other questions that kind of go with this, and one of them is that, I mean, Gary, even if Trump doesn't come into office and fire him immediately, which is hilarious, but that he would even come out and say that is awesome, right? Talk about trying to get the community behind you, right? You know that guy you guys hate? I'll fire him. Vote for me. Done.
Yeah.
Who do you hate more, Gary Gensler or Trump, right?
That's kind of how all politics works. Who do you hate more?
Yeah. But even if that doesn't happen, Gensler's term runs out in January. I think January 24th of next year. And there's no way he's being extended. There's no way. This man has been absolutely atrocious. I think at this point, another theory I heard was that with this ETF and stuff, that Gary might actually start trying to do some damage control here, because he's going to be looking for his next job very soon, right? And do you want to start pissing off companies like BlackRock and Fidelity and basically all these companies that you're likely probably going to go look for a job with, right, after this?
Yeah. That's usually how it works. They work their way up in the private sector. Then they go to this top position in the government job. Then they go back to a top position, private sector, and they just kind of hop back and forth, over the fence. Right. So yeah, I could totally see that. And, one of these big players would probably want him just for his inside knowledge alone, just as kind of like an on-hand consultant.
His advisory abilities.
Yeah.
Another ironic theory is that he'll go pull a Jay Clayton and start working for a crypto company afterwards.
He could. Yeah, he could. It's possible. Like, there was an example of that. I think it was Brian Brooks. That I don't remember what his government post or what he did in the government, but he ended up working with Binance US, and I think he did somebody else, maybe one of the stable coins, and he was kind of like that, right? Super knowledgeable, knew the thing inside and out. The moment he found out that CZ was still pulling the strings with Binance US, he instantly bolted. And looking back in hindsight, pretty good move, right?
100%. Now, another question for you with these ETFs, though, that I was asked, and it's a good question. With these ETFs coming into the market, not only Bitcoin, but potentially Ethereum, and then from that point on, potentially dozens and dozens of other altcoins, right? Do we start to see an end to the 4-year cycle as a result of that volatility kind of dissipating?
Yeah, you do. I think the cycle over time will break. Part of it will be the ETF and the access that as a derivative, what it gives to people. Like we keep saying, to hammer this, dead horse one more time. If that ETF can break into corporate retirement accounts, then you're not going to have this super fluctuation that you used to have. Now, the flip side of that is still there is a fluctuation that's kind of inherent, and I think that's because of the mining aspect. So as mining steadily ends and more gets tied up in more stable areas, then yeah, the cycle kind of has to break at some point.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with the alts following suit, right? I mean,
yeah.
VC money could be huge catalyst for the next few weeks. Absolutely. I mean, let's not forget also, we're still waiting for, I think it's going to take another month or two, but we're still waiting for the green light for VCs in Japan to start buying into digital assets as well. That's still on the table.
Yeah, very good point, right? So no VC is going to do things that are going to put them at risk having their money taken, right? They're not going to do that. So I agree with you. I think they're kind of waiting again for more crypto regulations to settle out, and as that settles out over time, you'll have more investors.
Well, you also have that bill passing for the unrealized gains, not being taxed on unrealized gains anymore out there too. That's definitely another major incentive, right?
That's a huge incentive. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, think about like a Panasonic or even like Sony or whoever the big companies are. If they're going to invest in these smaller companies, but you're saying you really can't invest into their coin because it's like an unrealized gain. I mean, imagine getting taxed by your government on unrealized gains, like in your wallet. I mean, it's the whole concept of it is pretty just ridiculous. It's like a massive government overreach.
Well, actually, Icy actually talked about that today. I was listening to his AMA from yesterday, or his Spaces or whatever, and he actually did say that I guess in the States they're trying to tax unrealized gains in crypto now, but it'll never happen because, and I agree with his reasoning behind it, is that they would have to tax these companies like BlackRock and everybody else on unrealized gains too. And they're never going to allow that to happen. Big money's never going to say, yeah, okay, we'll pay unrealized profits tax, right?
Right.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah, don't ever forget that Wall Street's in charge here in the U.S.
Yeah, let's not forget who's in charge here. Yeah. Man, Rob, mighty brave to have us goons in here with your nice guests. Anything could happen. Yeah. Well, Jesse's a part of the family, though. Jesse's been
I'm one of the goons.
Yeah. Jesse's been here since last year. So after this current price, where's our next major heavy resistance? I think we bounce off that 5 cents, and I think we're going to end up bouncing between 4 to 5 cents, consolidating again, in my opinion.
Yeah, let me look at my chart here and let's see where I've got us. So next one would be right about 0214, 0228, 024, 027. So there's a couple of them in there. I mean, we're kind of in a channel right now that's roughly between 019 and about 021.
It's kind of a double-edged sword, isn't it, with these levels? Because it's like you hate these levels as resistance levels on the way up. Like, oh, we got to go through 5 resistance levels before we break 3 cents. You know what I mean? But then at the same time, man, do you love those support levels when you're above them and you're falling down, right?
Yeah. I think the thing with the levels, like you don't have the Fibonacci on right there, but if you're looking at that, where it really matters, I think more so than just retail using it, is for the sake of Jasmy having a market maker. And it when they hit certain exact points, and it's kind of like, okay, we hit that exact level, like right on the dot, like what are the odds? And you look at the volume and it's like, there's not really any volume. So, it's the market maker kind of moving the coin along.
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, which is a good thing,
Yeah. SHIB's going to be the cheapest ETF. Yeah. If they have one, who knows, right? That's the other thing, is that there's so many projects now. I don't even know how many there is, like 15, 16,000 now or something.
There's a
and
lot.
Counting. Yeah.
Hey, hold on one second. Before we go away from that, you were talking about the projects. I saw a post the other day talking about dead coins. And I think it was talking about FTT in particular, right? FTX's former coin that's still out there.
Yeah.
Still kind of cruising along, right? And it kind of really got me thinking about how many dead coins there are that are still out there. And I mean, they still kind of move with the markets. And, you know, I guess if there's any volume, people are, I guess, buying and selling them, you know, like VGX, another dead coin. There's quite a few of them out there. You know, it's kind of a crazy thing when you think about how they're sort of like a ghost ship. You know, like they've set sea into the ocean, and they're just kind of adrift. You know.
Can you hear the ice cream truck out my window?
I can hear. I was about to say, I'm like, are you getting ice cream in the background? What the hell's going on over there?
Yeah,
are you serving ice cream out the window? Hold on one second. I gotta get somebody.
I got a double
frozen Snickers.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Yeah, that ice cream truck really distracted me there. I was like, wow, this guy's getting close to my house. Holy smokes.
I love ice cream trucks. You know, that reminds me when I was a kid, we would listen for that ice cream truck and it was like, holy shit, like where is it? It's over there somewhere. It's like, get on your bikes, like as fast as you can, straight to that point. It's like, shit, you get there and there's like a fence. And you're like, we're hopping the fence. Let's go. We got to get to that truck, you know?
We're ditching the bikes, boys. Yeah. Well, where I grew up, the truck didn't come, but they had these Dickie D's, they call them, the bikes with ice cream fridges on the front of them, right? I don't know what the hell you call them, but they were called Dickie D's, and they would come around with their little bells, and so we listened for the bells.
That's really funny.
Travis is 20 cents, the new resistance level for Jasmi. 20 cents? Do you mean 2 cents?
Probably means 0.02. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a support level right now because we haven't really fallen below it. We haven't fallen below it for a few days now. I think a couple of days. Anyway, yeah, it's a strong support level. Good point, Jesse. Having said that, Jasmi's gone through a lot of those avenues already and passing regulations in Japan who may have strict requirements for strict requirements. Yeah. True. Yeah. I think Jasmi's more. The odds are greater for Jasmi to have an ETF in Japan right now than they are in the United States, though, in my opinion.
Why do you say that?
Well, I mean, it would require one of these big hedge funds to actually apply for a Jasmi ETF, right? And is it even on their radars right now?
Maybe. Everybody's looking at Japan.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, don't understate that. I mean, everyone's looking at Japan. And how many projects in Japan are there? Well, there's Star, there's Jasmi. I don't know what else.
Well, I guess my point is that when these companies look at potential ETFs, I would assume, this is an assumption, that they're looking at what's going to bring them volume and fees, right? That would be my assumption.
There's a lot of volume in Jasmi. I mean, look, it's everywhere, right? How many exchanges are they on? 75?
80.
80? Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. 81.
Get it together, man.
81.5.
Binance is the 0.5.
You know, Jasmi, though, you got to remember, no ICO, and they've said all along that they've got the fintech attorney law firm repping them, and so they have been real strategic in what they've done and what they haven't done. So, could they have an ETF? They probably could.
Yeah, no, you're not. Well, absolutely. I'm not saying it's not possible. I just think that it's
maybe not likely, but you never know.
Well, I just think the odds are better in Japan first, right?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that because I've always thought Jasmi should be much more popular in Japan, and they haven't been. Right?
This is true.
I mean, they're by and large more popular globally than in Japan, which is half the reason I kept pushing for them to replace the card to get on the subway, right? Because if they could do something like that, then they would be everywhere in Japan. Totally different story, right? I mean, if they could break through like that, be everywhere in Japan, and then be on an ETF, That would be massive.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe
Well-
you should send that to Hara. Tag him in that post. Right?
Well, the country with the largest amount of Jasmy holders is actually the U.S. Not even Japan, right? Japan was like 5th or 6th on the list, so you're absolutely right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, and you got to look at the current generation of people that are buying crypto. I mean, it's a lot of the people that grew up with Nintendo and Sega, you know, and all that always went right back to Japan, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of fans here in the U.S. that want to see Japan put out something great, you know?
Oh, 100%. If ETFs do take over, the future of cryptocurrency market would likely begin to resemble the stock market, and the stock market will soon. I think it will resemble, in my opinion, but like kind of like what Jesse said, but because of the miners, there will always be some level of volatility. I think it would be somewhere in the middle between what it is now and what the stock market is, but leaning more towards the stock market, but still would have a little more volatility, in my opinion. I don't know. What do you think?
I think maybe the sweet spot is kind of, let's say the stock market is stable and the crypto market is volatile. It's going to meet somewhere in the middle, right? And the reason I say that is that I think the more money that comes in, the more stable, theoretically, it should get. But the wrinkle in the crypto market is crypto pairs. So you don't have stock pairs.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have an Apple Microsoft pair, you know, Apple Tesla pair or whatever, but you do have that in crypto. And so you can never fully separate from Bitcoin as long as there's all these pairs all over the place. But it's not just Bitcoin. I mean, you know, there's various stablecoin pairs and other things as well. You know, and if you look at the DEXs, I mean, there's all kinds of different pairs. You know, so crypto is totally unique in that way.
Well, another thing that for me, a lot of people get paranoid, and I get emails about it all the time and stuff. They say, well, you know, if the volatility in crypto is going to die down, then that means I'm gonna, you know, I want to be around for, you know, a few more cycles, and that's not going to be possible. Yes and no, right? Volatility will die down. However, the difference, I've talked about this before, for me, the fundamental difference between the stock market and crypto, the volatility in the stock market to make crazy gains is there too. Just same way it is in crypto. The difference is in the stock market, you have to be an accredited investor. They've put rules in place to prevent you from getting in on companies early. There's not going to be any shortage of new projects launching in crypto just because the volatility died down. You'd still be able to buy into them early, and without these accredited investor rules to prevent you from being able to buy in on a KASPA when it first comes out, for example, the opportunities will still be there, in my opinion.
I think so. I think you're going to have opportunities. I mean, some of the things that run are because they have a Coinbase listing or a Binance listing, right? And then all of a sudden it pops off. You would still have that kind of thing in, you know, in the traditional stock market. It opens and it closes at certain times. There's trading before and after the bell that you can't participate in. Like it's a much more rigged game, I think, the stock market than crypto. Even though crypto is highly manipulated, I think the stock market is highly rigged.
Well, they literally just turned it off.
Yeah, exactly. The hard stop button, right? You know, the other thing too in the stock market, which, you know, I'm sure you got this in crypto, and at the same level, I don't know, is the high frequency trading, right? I mean, like the flash crash type stuff that happens now in the stock market, where it's like, oh my God, you know, we dropped, you know, however many 1,000 points, you know, in 1 minute, and then it went straight back up. Yeah, it's like all the auto trading is doing that. Like eventually everything is going to be all auto bot trading, you know, kind of across the board.
Which is a little bit,
yeah.
it's a little bit irritating, but I mean, listen, I understand. I don't always have time to. I say it's irritating, but then I go and I'll do copy pro trading on like LBank or something like that, right? Just lazy.
Hey, give it a try.
Rob got a 5th job as an ice cream man. I don't think my son would allow me to sell much product.
I'm surprised he wasn't like banging on your door when that ice cream truck was out there.
He's probably outside chasing the truck. Screw Dad, I'm going.
Yeah, got to get that ice cream crunch bar.
Beebs, Rob, I saw your portfolio change. At first, I was surprised. However, from the ROI standpoint, I understand why you did it. I was surprised because I watched the 4-hour stream with you and Max on that coin. Yeah, and you know what? I will get back into that coin at some point, but I just, like you said, I was going for some potential ROI. So
provide a little context here. What coin are you talking about?
Talking about HBAR.
Oh, HBAR. You got out of HBAR? Is that what happened?
Yep. I got out of it a couple of days ago. I told the members a couple of days ago that whenever I make moves in my portfolio, I let the channel members know. Yeah, so I made that move and moved. I was up very. I mean, I got into HBAR at like 2-3 cents.
Okay.
Right. So I was up huge. Right. And then I had taken profits. I told the members I took profits about a month ago when it ran up to like 19 cents. And then we were hovering at like 15 cents or something, 14, 15 cents or something like that. And I was like, you know what? I'm looking at the ROI on it. I'm looking at the amount of coins I'm holding. I'm looking at another project that I'm really, really, going hard at right now. And I'm like, I'm going to roll these profits over, man. And then, I'll just take a new position into HBAR, as we go. So
yeah.
Sometimes you gotta pivot, right? You gotta take your profits, roll them into something else, and keep them going, man. It's nothing against HBAR. I still believe in HBAR. I think it's a fantastic project, especially with all the building they've been doing in this bear market.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, partnerships in like Saudi Arabia, they've partnered with like Algorand in like 2 different ways. They're on that. I don't know what your thoughts are on this. Actually, the fact that they're on that, I will call it a panel for lack of a better word, but they formed this 5 projects now have formed this coalition that help redeem lost tokens and wallets and stuff like that. And HBAR, Algorand, XRP, Constellation, and I can't remember the 5th one. It's another one of those ISO projects. I can't remember which one though. What do you think about that? A lot of people are like, no. But hey, my thought real quick is that if you genuinely want the larger retail sector to get into crypto, there has to be fail safes in place. Not everyone is capable of maintaining their own keys and protecting their crypto. It's going to have to get a lot more user friendly to get the general, because people as a whole are generally kind of stupid and don't want to learn how to operate this, right?
Yeah. There was a funny commercial I saw on Reddit that I think it was KuCoin that put it out, and it's this kid, and he's looking at at his crypto, and he discovers this wallet that he forgot that he had, right, and it's got 55,000 Bitcoin in it. And so he looks at it and he goes, oh my God, 55,000. He does some math. It's worth like $330 million or something. And he's thinking, holy crap, right? And so he's like going on other sites, like booking his trip and doing this thing and he's spending all this money, whatever. And so he goes to move the coins and he copies the address and he pastes it somewhere and he just clicks go to move it all at once, right?
Oh no.
And he didn't copy the last character. And then, everybody commenting is like, oh God, like, yep, been there. Like, oh man, I feel that one. It's like one character was missing and he hit send for $330 million. And, it's like, yeah, it's gone.
Wow. I wouldn't do that with $100. Like,
that makes you nervous.
Yeah, like I moved when I actually moved some crypto from one of my ledgers a couple of days ago, and I sent it over to an exchange to kind of make some moves, and it took like, a long time. It took like an hour and a half for some reason. I don't know if the network was congested or something, but it took like an hour and a half. And yeah, I was like going back, confirming, looking at the the address I sent to, confirming it was, I'm like, okay, well, what the hell is going? It's very stressful, right?
It's incredibly stressful, and yes, you're absolutely right that the network can mess up, right? Like there are good network days and there are bad network days for whatever reason, that it's just clogged up, doesn't work right, something doesn't fully connect. And that happens. I mean, it really does. Like I had that happen to me one time where I was moving right about $4,000 worth of something and it just like got stuck. And I was like, like that was like $4,000. I'm like, hopefully that went through, and it was like, didn't go through. Checked it the next day, didn't go through. Checked it the next day, didn't go through. And I was like, where the hell? Like, I'm pretty sure I know I sent all this correctly, but it never showed up, right? And so at the time, I had to actually follow up with the team who was behind the project. And they looked it up and they're like, oh, yeah, there was an error. It got hung up on the relayer. I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean it got hung up on the relayer? And they're like, yeah, it got hung up. But we sent it all through and now it's all over there. Now it's on mainnet. And I was like, okay, sweet. Thank God.
Decentralized.
I know, right? But I'll tell you, man, that whole week, it's like, I was like, somebody'd say something to me. What? I was like,
give me
ready
my money.
to go. Yeah. Where's my money?
It is. Yeah, it is stressful. That's, I always send a test. Always.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, never would I send a large amount of money. And even then I wouldn't send, like this bull run, I won't be sending massive amounts of money at one time. I don't care if it takes a long time. I'll send it little by little. As long as it's in stable coin, I'm good, right? Like,
yeah, true.
So, so yeah, I don't know, that it's a very stressful thing for sure. But again, back to the original point is that if you want the general retail public to be in crypto, which you do want, right? For price appreciation across the board, well, then there has to be safeguards in place. There has to be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you got to have, crypto's got to be able to get to a point that a complete noob can get into it and do some of these things without just losing everything. It's got to get there. Otherwise, that there's going to be this barrier of entry that's scares certain people away. Yeah,
because you're exactly right. It's too complicated, especially like new people. I get so many new people in my Telegram, and they're like, "How the hell do I operate MetaMask?" It's not user friendly.
Yeah, I know. Hey, Ethereum says it wants to charge me a fee that's equivalent of 40% of my investment. What's going on here? And you're like, yep, that's about right. I
think I'm doing something wrong. Nope. You're bang on.
That's just how it is. Sorry. Like at the time that NFTs were really popular there for a little while, some of those gas fees that people were paying for Ethereum NFTs, my God. I mean, Ethereum was making a fortune on all those.
And it'll happen again this bull run.
Yeah.
Yep, it'll happen again. What else do we have? Sorry, meant 2 cents. Yeah. We got that new coin, ice cream truck. ICT's the ticker. You heard it here first. Well, the U.S. Silicon Valley was the leader in Web 2. It is fair to say that Japan wants to be the leader in Web 3. Same with Hong Kong and China as well. Yeah. They announced, that's not a surprise, though. I mean, we were hearing out of China and Hong Kong over a year ago that they planned on making a splash in Web 3. right? This is they were very, very clear about that intent, right?
Yeah, they were clear, but I do think Japan has gone further than any other country holistically, right? Like, if you look at Japan, the way that the prime minister talks about it, you know, their kind of smart cities idea, you know, the society 5.0, all that stuff. The corporate entities in Japan, everybody's kind of on board for the same goal. You know, it's really kind of neat to see, you know, everything is all aligning all at once. Now, is it going to be like that forever? Probably not, but it appears to be that way now, especially with Japan, which is why I think from the crypto side, you got a lot of interest with people looking at Japan, you know.
I got a question for you. What do you think about I don't know if you've done any looking into it as of yet, so I don't want to put you on the spot, but what do you think of Jasmy's new partner, 10 Protocol?
Who?
10 Protocol?
Oh, 10 Protocol. I haven't fully looked into it yet. Haven't done a deep dive yet. What do you think?
From my understanding, I mean, they're basically there to help solidify the AI security and stuff like that, right? Because we know that, as far as I know, that the PDL is basically like your information. I mean, you and I have talked about this. Like, your information on the PDL goes to the AI, right? Which helps the AI recommend things to you, right?
Right.
The concern that people are having, that I understand, is, well, is it like your phone where, you know, it's sending your data to a third party and then selling it off, whereas, you know, the AI doesn't do that, right? It's basically between you, the AI, and your PDL.
Yeah.
And from my understanding, I've just briefly looked into it. I'm going to be doing a deeper dive on the company, but my understanding is that they're there to help solidify and make it work on the security of that aspect, from my understanding. But there's probably more to it than that. But
there probably is. I think, you know, Jasmy with the PDL in particular has security patents as part of that, right? So there is security with the PDL, but yeah, I mean, you know, the way this whole thing is supposed to work, the entire premise of the Platinum data, right, is that the user supplies it, it goes into the PDL. What then goes out goes through the AI, and the AI provides inferences back based on the data. So could there be some sort of vulnerability somewhere in the AI, right? Not necessarily the PDL itself, but maybe in the AI somehow. I don't know. You know, the thing with Janction and the Janction partnerships, it's a little challenging to follow because it's all kind of like hypotheticals, right? And it's these various third parties saying, hey, we see what you're trying to do here with your own blockchain. We can help you in the following way. We can make this a little better, right? So I think that's kind of where this one's headed. So overall, more security, the better, right? Yeah. That's a good thing. So
yeah, too much security is not a thing. The stock market will soon open its doors to 20. Yeah, I saw that they were actually trying to do that. Was it New York they're trying to do that in?
I have not seen that. That's funny.
Yeah, they want to make it 24/7.
They should. They're not competitive, right? Yeah. I mean, think about it. You know, crypto is. This is one of the things that drew me into crypto was it's 24/7, 365 days a year. It doesn't take the holidays off. It's not on banking hours. You know, like there's parts of the stock market that honestly, if they want to be competitive in the investment environment today, then yeah, they need to adjust. And part of it could be a 24-hour market.
Yeah. Can Jasmy meet its all-time high of $4.99? Can it? Yes. Will it? Guess we'll find out, right?
If it did it this cycle, that would be utterly amazing. that would be quite a stretch. That would be, going. I hate to beat the dead horse with Cardano, but the Cardano comparison, right? I mean, look at how popular Cardano got, and it went to $3.10. Everybody said $10. So for Jasmy to go to $4.99, it's like almost doubling that. I mean, it's like that's probably a stretch for this cycle. Next cycle, who knows, right? Like for example, could Cardano hit $4.99 this cycle? Yeah, probably could. I mean, that might be doable, right? One thing in crypto that happens a lot is you'll have like similar projects follow each other in cycles, right? So Jasmy may be following the Cardano playbook. Cardano may end up going for $4.99 or more this cycle, which means the Jasmy next cycle could do that.
Well, that's my belief too, is that with their KPI goals, like in terms of the lockup aspect, I think that it's more realistic to expect significantly higher price action in the following bull run, because we don't have a very long road to travel here. There's not a lot of time left for this bull run, right?
Right.
Like in my opinion, 10 to 12 months from now, people should be exiting their positions. Like you stick around longer than that, and in my opinion, you're going to risk holding through the next bear market.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I just don't think there's enough time. Again, it goes back to what I said about Doge. Everyone thought it was going to $1. It got to 72 cents. And I think that they just ran out of road for that bull run. Do I think Doge can get over $1 this time? Yeah, I do. I think it will actually break $1 this time around. But they just ran out of time in terms of how much time they had left in the cycle to reach it, I think, right?
Yeah.
And I think Jasmy is, like you said, it repeats. I think it's a similar situation. I just don't think there's enough time in this bull run for them to get that high.
Yeah. For now, the cycle still stands by all accounts.
Yeah.
Which is one of the things that a lot of people who actually follow this closely are like, time out, Jasmy. Like, you're saying you're going to hit your KPIs in 2026. Like, no one told you, but that's the down year. It's like, it's probably not going to happen in 2026. But I mean, if you listen to them, they're like, no, we're going to keep plotting ahead. We're going to keep on plotting. We have a plan. We're going to follow the plan. We're going to see it through,
I think, sorry, I was going to say, I think that relates back to what you and I spoke about before, is we're talking about people who are used to running these massive companies that are originating from the stock market. And I think that's probably why they're not getting it with this 4-year cycle, right?
Yeah, and like I said earlier, the crypto pairs. So crypto is completely unique from the stock market. It is not the same thing. Even though sometimes it kind of follows the overall sentiment, it's not set up the same way at all, Yeah,
that's an understatement, yeah. So in answering your question in a long form, eventually. Right? Funny you're talking about that, because I just swapped 10,000 H bar into ELF, but still have a nice bag of H bar. Cool. Hopefully you did it in the green. Highly unlikely. Be happy. I think 50 cents is a little bearish. I mean, this market could go absolutely. I think a lot of people are underestimating, like you said, this ETF influence, right? We haven't even started to see the effect of the supply and demand aspect of what's going on right now.
No,
and no one can project how impactful that's going to be. All we know is it's going to be crazy. Right?
I've told you that I think I think the sentiment in crypto is that the crypto gold rush already happened, right? Like, it happened that first 5 to 7 years, and now we're all kind of like, shoot, we missed it, right? But the true gold rush is now. I think it's actually now, and I think it's going to catch a lot of people off guard when between now in the next 10 years, everybody's going to be going, God, why didn't I put more money into Bitcoin? Why didn't I do that? You know, and everybody's going to be kicking themselves. What if I only bought then and held it? You know, like there's a lot of people that say that today. You know, it's like, well, God, if I had only bought it in 2011, and like the very next comment will be, you would have sold it.
Yeah.
No, it's like you wouldn't have held it the whole time. You know,
100%. And that's what I tell people who say, well, like, I can't wait for Jasmy to be $17. You're not going to hold it to $17.
No.
You're holding, people who say that to me, they're holding like 2, 3, 4, 5 million Jasmy, and they're like, I can't wait for it to get to $17. I tell you right now, Jasmy gets to $1, you're out.
Yeah.
You look at your portfolio and you see that number, and if you've never had that kind of money before, you're done. You're not holding.
Yeah, it's a big number. You know, and again, I mean, going back to like some of these posts on Reddit, I mean, people post like that all the time, you know, of like, well, yeah, you know, I was up, like I read another one the other day and it was like, yeah, I was up, you know, 600 grand. And, you know, I thought I was, you know, doing great with everything. And then I took it and I parlayed it into this bad investment, that bad investment. And now I'm starting over, you know?
That's what frightens me. I'm not familiar with moving from one exchange to another. Yes, I am a noob. Yeah, it's gonna be scary, but you gotta learn it. I would always say test with like $5 or something first, you know?
Yeah. All you got to do is hit that copy button for the address. Copy paste, but never try to highlight it.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
Turns out not so good.
Yeah.
New Silicon Valley will be Arizona on the Valley.
That could
thoughts?
be true.
Yeah.
Isn't the Tesla the Gigafactory somewhere out there?
Yeah, I think is in Texas.
Is it Texas?
I think so. I could be wrong, but
okay.
I think Texas. Can you see a top in December? No, I don't. I think that the top. I think that this market's probably going to see a double top. To be honest with you, I think we will see a top in Q4 of this year, but I think that we'll see the second top somewhere between January, February, March of next year. And I think that's when, me personally, January, February, March, I will be exiting the market. I don't care how high things go after that. When you start caring about that stuff, in my opinion, that's when you start getting wrecked, right?
Don't get greedy.
Yeah. Just always keep in the back of your mind, whatever you make in this cycle, you can take a portion of that and reinvest it in the bottom of the next bear market. You have time, right?
Yeah. I've got a really good friend of mine that is he's like, I wouldn't say he has a gambling problem. I would not say that. He is like just somebody who likes to gamble, and he gambles in like big money, right? And he consistently wins. You know, I've never like run into somebody like this, right? Like he's like, yep, that's my thing. Yeah, I'll go play a little bit. And he's like, yeah, I made, 130 grand a couple months ago. And you're like, what? And he does that. And he always said to me, he's like, Jesse, bird in the hand's worth two in the bush. I'm like, no wonder you always win, because at some point he's like, nope, I'm done.
My dad's actually like that. I go down to Toronto to visit him sometimes, and he always goes to the casino, and I went with him once, and I'll put like $20 into like the Blazing Sevens machine or something, right?
Yeah.
And most of the time I can turn that into like $200, cash it out, put in another 20. I'll walk out with like $400 to $500, right? From a $20 bill, which isn't bad. Last time I went with him, we go, and it's like, I turn the corner, he's over at his dollar machines. I turn the corner, I come back, and he's standing there, and they're taking a picture with one of those big checks. And I'm like, what the hell? And he's like, yeah, I won big again. And I look up at the wall, he's got like 5 pictures up there holding checks. I'm like, what the hell,
dude? Really funny.
So I know what you mean. It's just those people, right? Like,
yeah. Some of them are good. And then there's others that aren't. Gosh, I keep going back to Reddit, but I see all these things in Reddit. There's one of these subreddits I follow. It's like it's like highlighting all the boomers, and whatever they're doing or cranky at today, and it was a row of them at the casino, right? And they're just hitting the buttons, and they're just like plugged into the matrix. They're just hitting the button, right, over and over and over again. And then it kind of zooms in on one lady, and it's like, do you want to add, how much money? And she's at $20,000, and they're just hitting the button, man.
Jesus, man.
Like, my God.
we actually have some VLTs at the bar that I manage. And there's this kid that comes in. He's, I don't know, 22, something like that, right?
Yeah.
And he hunts a lot, so he'll usually bring me from the butcher. If he kills a bear or something or a moose, he'll bring me some sausage, some meat. Basically, he's like, "Here you go, buddy," And
yeah,
the father-in-law loves that stuff, game meat, so I give it to him. And anyway, he comes up to me.
I don't actually eat that shit. I give it to the father-in-law.
Yeah, he loves it. I don't eat that shit. Yeah. But he came up to me last weekend, and he was all down. And I see him at the VLTs all the time in the bar, right? And he told me 2 weeks ago, he's like, "Man, I gotta stop." I'm like, "Yeah, but you'll be here again." I just made a joke. I'm thinking, comes in, he's a kid, $22 or 22 years old, probably spends $100 or something like that, right? Whatever,
yeah.
No big deal, And he comes up to me last weekend, and he's like, "Man," he's like, I took out $4,000 on my credit card, and I just lost it all in the VLTs here." I'm like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" I would have taken that out and bought Bitcoin instead. Why would you take out money from your credit card and do no, that's not what credit cards are for. But yeah, it can be, there's those people, right? So
yeah.
All this talk about Jasmy all-time high, but what was the circulating supply at the all-time high?
Way less.
Was it 7.5 billion or something?
Yeah, it was way less than it is now. Now it's fully diluted, but back then it was nowhere near what it is now.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 7.5 billion or something.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like you said, Rob, there isn't a lot of Bitcoin left on exchanges, and not a lot of Jasmy either. Yeah, actually, funny story, Jesse. I don't know if you've seen this, but I looked it up the other day. I did it in the live stream. There's only about little over 14 billion Jasmy in reserve on exchanges right now.
Bring on the ETF, right?
Bring it on.
Hey, that's what we got to start posting on all of our X profiles. Jasmy ETF. Win Jasmy ETF. You know what? I'm going to put that one out there.
I will retweet that.
Yeah, I'll post that now. I'm not even joking.
So if not 499 this cycle, Jesse, what's your peak target for Jasmy this bull run?
If not 499.
498.
498, sorry. I think hold on one second. Win Jasmy ETF.
You tweeting it?
Oh yeah, I'm putting this one out there. Let's see what happens.
I'm retweeting it right away.
Hold on, let me just put that. Let's see. There we go. Okay.
All right, I gotta see where this is. Usually it pops up. Should pop up in my news feed, right at the top. But it's not.
It'll be there soon. It's already got 3 likes.
Already got 3 likes. Oh, that's awesome.
All right, so cycle peak. So again, if Jasmy's following the tracks that are already laid by Cardano, if it could do 250 to 350, that would be amazing. Honestly, that's kind of how I view it. So, I mean, if Jasmy went over $2, my God, that'd be great too. So I think if it did that, that would be great. Is it possible? It's crypto. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, that's just it, right? But like I tell people, have the best plan is to have an exit strategy, right? Make sure I want to make sure people are paying themselves in this bull run, right? I watched in the last bull run, I watched a lot of people miss out on realizing their profits because of, like you were saying, bullshit like $10 Cardano from BitBoy and stuff like that, right? Like I remember clearly, literally, that guy on a daily basis on his channel literally saying the words, "Don't sell your Cardano." Do not sell your Cardano, right?
Hey, what did he say about Bencoin?
Oh, it's going to pass Ethereum in market cap, 100%.
Bencoin to the moon, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be the new digital currency. Didn't you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to accept it at the Tesla dealer, Bencoin.
Yeah. Sell all my holdings, buying vending machines.
That's one way to do it. Passive income, right? I mean, it's not completely passive. You'd still have to, I guess. Yeah, do people still go to vending machines and take coins out of it, or do you just scan a credit card now? In the old days, you always had to. I had a friend of mine whose dad did vending machines, and he would have to go and change out, get all the change and then restock the vending machine. It kind of seemed like a real hassle.
I think that in more reputable places, like probably like hospitals and stuff like that, in airports, they probably have the the tap or whatever. But
yeah.
I know you go to some of the I don't know, crappier place. You go to a bowling alley or something like that, you probably still got to put a quarter in the machine, right?
Hey, it wouldn't be right if you didn't. I mean,
yeah, part of the experience, man. Unreal. Yeah, so it's going to be an exciting week, though, man. We got 2 bills that are going to be voted on. We've got the ETF potential approval. I mean,
you got the Janction AMA.
Yeah, we've got the Janction AMA. We've got Biden deciding whether he's going to veto that SOB 121. That's all. This is a crazy. This could be an extremely bullish week or an extremely bearish week.
Yeah, but again, when in doubt, zoom out, right? Like, look at the long-term trends of this thing. Look at the long-term trends of the Bitcoin ETF, and it's only been going since January.
Zoom out.
There you go. Yeah, the funny thing when you zoom out there, like, do that again, right? So this is one of those things I always look at is, your chart that's near flat has the greatest opportunity to go up, right? What goes down must come up.
Yep.
And it's kind of like, if you look at the Jasmy chart, I mean, it's barely even a blip of where it is right now. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And if you were looking at like the old Cardano chart in comparison, I mean, it's pretty close.
Hang on a sec. I'll pull up the Cardano chart. Let's have a look. Cardonzo. Yeah, I shared yesterday.
What do they call it? Cardona.
Cardona. I shared the other day. Yeah, Cardano was pretty close. I shared the other day. Jim Cramer tweeted out that Bitcoin will not reach $1 million. So it's official.
It's happening. Yeah, it is definitely happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. So look at the Cardano chart at the beginning before it ever jumped. I mean, we're kind of like either those 2 bumps, maybe even in the middle. Even go back further than that. I mean, we're almost kind of like these bumps right here is kind of like where we are right now. And look what this one did.
Well, I'd also like to point out to people as well that you see people right now saying that, the bull run's over. We've already, whenever we've already seen as high as we're going to go, all that kind of stuff, right? I'd like to point out that this was the bull run of 2021, right? This is where we are right now. zoom out on that and tell me that you think that we have topped for the market cycle, right?
Yeah, it hasn't happened.
Not even close. So, yeah, a little perspective for people, right? For everything, really.
Historically, a lot of these will triple their previous all-time high, right? So if Cardano's previous all-time high is 310, then they're looking at $9 plus for the market peak this time around.
Well, you also, another thing is, like, you have to be careful as a viewer of YouTube when people are putting out price predictions. Like, I don't know if you know him or not, but AJ Writes Crypto.
I don't know.
He's like one of BitBoy's buddies. He does his own channel though, and he does a lot of price predictions and stuff.
Okay.
And I don't mind AJ. He seems like a decent guy. But I watched like a string of his price prediction videos. He does like I don't know, every couple of days he picks an altcoin and does a video on it, right? And he breaks down, and his methods are sound because he breaks down the tokenomics, he breaks down the dilution throughout the bear market, and all that stuff is very sound and stuff. But there's a major flaw, I think, and I pointed it out to him actually, because after I watched like his fifth price, I think it was a Sandbox price prediction video, and I told him, I said, AJ, man, I've watched like 5 or 6 of your price prediction videos over the last, I don't know, 2 months or whatever, right? And I'm like, so according to you, none of the altcoins are going to reach new all-time highs in this bull run, right? Is what you're saying. Because it's like Sandbox, for example, went to, I don't know, almost $9 or something, right? In the last bull run, he's like, it's going to go to $4.50. And I'm like, okay, so, and it was like that for everything. Polkadot, it was a fraction of like less than half of what it went to last time. And I'm just like, so no altcoins are going into price discovery through this bull run is what you're telling people, kind of thing. And he's like, well, I'm just looking at the dilution and I'm looking at, the market caps and this. I'm like, I get that, AJ. I said, but let me ask you this question. What's the total asset classes market cap you're using to make these projections? Are you still going off the 3 trillion that was in the last bull run, or are you increasing that? And his answer was, that's a good question. I never thought about that. Fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Great point though, right? I mean, you're saying it's going to go like half of what it did last time. So are you saying that instead of 3 trillion, it's going to be 1.5 or something? Like what are you? Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the history repeats in this thing, and it's not done. That's the big thing here.
Well, like, here's the thing. In the last bull run, what was the total market cap of the asset class? I think it was a hair under 3 trillion.
Right. It was like 2.9 trillion, I think. 2.9
trillion. Put things in perspective. The total market cap right now is 2.73 or 2.72 trillion. So we're almost at the peak market cap of the last bull run. And we haven't even started Bitcoin running yet, let alone anything else. So when I tell people, like, I think that we're probably going to see closer to a 12 to 15 trillion dollar market cap on this asset class, maybe higher than that with these ETFs, right? I mean, if we're at 2.72 trillion already and we haven't even started the parabolic part of the bull run yet, where can we realistically go? Pretty high, in my opinion.
I think so. Really the only downside to that is what you were saying earlier about the road running out, right? I mean, at some point, time's going to run out on this cycle, and then that'll be the most juice that we can squeeze out of this thing. At some point, will happen, and then it'll start to repeat again.
I remember, it's funny because I remember every single day of the 2022. You probably remember it too. Every day waking up, looking, markets red.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh man, come on, can we bottom? and we finally bottomed out at like 90 something percent down. And
Yeah.
but it's a long, like people think right now is tedious. Wait till 2026 when we start spending the entire year working our way back down to the bottom of the bear market. A whole year, every day of down 15%, down 20%, down, you know, like it just keeps going.
Yeah, and let me say also that as somebody who talks about this stuff publicly, those are the days that suck the life out of you. That it's kind of like every bit of creative juice and like the feeling of like we're gonna get there is kind of like just your soul is just crushed and trampled on every day, you know, endlessly, and it's just like, oh, we can't keep beating anymore, and then we are, you know.
It's got to be the bottom, 50% down.
see, but that's why I am optimistic that the derivative that is the ETF will crack into retirement accounts. Because if it can do that, then you got just like those slot machines, people mindlessly putting in the money every 2 weeks with their paycheck. You know,
let me ask you this: do you think that there are these pension funds, just as an example, or other entities out there who are vaguely aware of the 4-year cycle, are vaguely aware that we're about to take off, and are also vaguely aware that Bitcoin's price is likely going to fall 85 to 90% in 2026, that maybe there's a lot of money waiting on the sidelines for the bottom of the next bear market to come in?
Possibly. It depends, you know. I mean, it depends on what the goal is, right? Like if you think about like a BlackRock, okay? They're making money because these companies are investing in the derivative, right? They're making their money off the fee to get in and to hold this thing, to be the custodian, whatever. Is their goal Bitcoin? I mean, they want it to go up in value, but is that really where they're making their money? No, they're making their money off the people getting into it day to day. So what I'm getting at is, why then would they be selling and following the cycle? It doesn't really make sense, because that's not where they're making their money anyway, is on the profiting of Bitcoin going up or down. They don't give a shit, you know. What they're looking at is getting in more and more investors and charging the fee off that investment, right? It's kind of like a stable returns, right? Like, you know, for a financial entity that's generating money, they want to always be getting steady returns, and they're getting that off these various companies holding in the ETF. Now, if those companies say, "Hey, I want to sell everything," well, then maybe it happens that way. But it's not going to be BlackRock doing the selling, is my point, right? It'll be whoever their clients are saying, "Hey, BlackRock, I want to sell everything," right? Go ahead. No, I was going to say, or the other thing here is, if it's retail buying it through like their retirement accounts, then, you know, like if I'm buying, let's say, the Bitcoin ETF through my retirement accounts, and they're tied into the BlackRock IBIT, well, it's only going to sell if I'm selling. So if I'm not selling, then it can't sell. You know what I mean?
That's kind of the mistake that a lot of people have been making with Grayscale, right? Everyone's pissed off at Grayscale. It's not them, it's their clients, right?
It's their clients going, "Hey, why am I paying 6 times the fee with you that I could get with BlackRock? I'm pulling out everything, sell it all." And that's why Grayscale has dropped more than in half, you know?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Though they have started to see inflows now, which is fantastic. Right.
It's kind of surprising, honestly, because I don't know why you would see an inflow unless they're assuring that company, like, "Hey, we're getting our act together. We got a new CEO coming on. He's going to change the fees. Please don't go anywhere. Stick with us. We'll see this through. They're probably doing that because they've had a mass exodus out of Grayscale.
Well, of course, it's not a coincidence that they start seeing inflows within a couple of weeks of them getting a new CEO. Right?
Yeah.
Coincidences don't happen in this industry.
I do not believe in coincidence.
Yeah, events are conspiring to make this happen. Exactly. You're absolutely right. They probably are promising their clients, hey, these fees are going down, right?
Right. Yeah, they have to be, because otherwise Grayscale's like going down in flames, Well,
my question is, what kind of moron thought that was going to fly in the first place?
The guy who just got fired or stepped down. let me rephrase. Step down.
Like, what was he thinking? So BlackRock's is this okay? We're going to go 6 times higher than that. And
yeah, it kind of reminds me of like the like somebody like a painter, right? So you have the painter that says, well, we charge 6 times more than everybody else to paint your house. And you go, why? And they go, well, we use good paint. So is the other guy. Our paint is better. It's not that much better. Well, we've been here a long time. So are you saying they don't do good work? It's kind of like the, like if you're going to sell me on why I should pay 6 times more with you, you better do a really good job. It's kind of like a steakhouse, right? Like if you're selling steak at 6 times the restaurant next door, that better be a damn good steak, right? And is it with Grayscale? Is the Bitcoin that much better? Nope.
It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, exactly. So why would you pay 6 times the fee when I could go to the restaurant next door into BlackRock and get the same steak?
Exactly. I don't know what they were thinking, but apparently maybe it was a money grab for them, and then they plan on lowering the rate now and luring people back in or something. Maybe that's all I can think of.
I think when from the retail viewpoint, we look at things like this and we go, surely they know what they're doing. Surely they've got it figured out. And then things like this happen, and it's like, clearly they never had it figured out. Like, it was just kind of like, it worked well when it was the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. Now it's the ETF. They have no idea what they're doing, Yeah,
unbelievable, man. All right, buddy. I'm gonna wrap it. I'm doing the P dance myself here, and I'm sure it's around that time. You probably got to get going too, eh?
Yeah, it's a Taco Tuesday over here, so I got to fire up some tacos. I'm looking forward to that.
Ooh, nice. I don't know what, I'm probably pasta or something. So, but yeah, I don't know. With this, are you gonna watch this AMA with 10 Protocol?
I may try and listen in on that. I haven't listened in a little while, so I may try and join that one. We'll see. I still got to do the time conversion also.
Well, what time is it there right now for you?
Right now it's 6:04, so I'm an hour ahead of you.
Yeah, so it would be, I think it would be 11:30 your time.
At night?
No, in the morning.
Well, that would be 11. We're on like opposite schedules, so I think you got that backwards then. So if he's doing it at 11 in the morning, it'd be at 11 at night here.
Right. No, I think it's. Hang on a second.
Or is he saying they're doing it at night in Japan?
They're doing it at 2 p.m. GMT.
Yeah, so that's somewhere AM for us.
Yeah, it's got to be about 11 a.m. I think for you. Let me check.
Right. Hold on a second. Let's see.
Japan time they're doing it at 11:30 p.m. in Japan.
PM. Okay.
Yeah, which is 10:30 my time, or sorry, Toronto time. So it's 9:30 my time. So it's 10:30 your time.
Okay.
10:30 a.m.
Yeah,
your time.
10:30 a.m. You're right. You're right.
If you do watch it, take notes, because I would like to reconvene and chat with you about it. If you end up watching it, let me know.
All right. So 10:30
Doesn't have to
a.m.
be-
And wait a minute. What day is that?
That's the 23rd, day after tomorrow.
Because they're, yeah, the 23rd. Okay. Yeah, that would work. So the 23rd.
We could do it on the weekend or something, but just take notes.
All right. Yeah. I mean, we can definitely cover it.
But, I think we'll learn a lot about the partnership and kind of what they're all about and stuff. So I think it'll be because I'm already getting asked like crazy. Well, what is this? What does it mean?
Yeah.
I don't fucking know.
well, yeah, like I told you, it's really hard to answer those questions because they're all kind of like hypothetical Jasmy chain questions. And we don't really know until we see it,
Yeah. But all right, I'll shoot you a message on the day after tomorrow there and see if you're. I'll be live streaming it, so I'll be watching it. So.
All right.
I usually live stream those things. So.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what, man. Well, I'll be back anytime to catch up with you and the rest of the crypto goons that are in the comments, and we can all chat about this this fantastic opportunity, right?
Yeah, absolutely, brother. Thanks again for coming on, broski.
All right, man. Catch you later.
Peace.
See you.
All right, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I'll be back a little bit later for another live stream. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the show. And I will see you guys in a couple of hours.